In the first week, we have learned some theories related to computer-mediated communication, like computer-mediated communication within the system, earlier platform or earlier period of time. The majority of the text-based communication lacks the non-verbal communication. The lack of non-verbal communication creates little bit of gap between the users, between the communicating people, because the face-to-face communication is much higher level of position in the communication settings, because here exchanges are highly influential between the users, reciprocal, instantaneous, but we try to integrate, we try to imitate that face-to-face context in the online platform. So that's what we are theorizing about media richness theory, social cue theory, social presence theory and all that in the computer mediated communication. In the second week, we are dealing with the interrelationship between the medium and the society, online medium, digital media and the social setup, social institutions. Here we are talking about a few theories, 3 theories particularly. We are going to deal with that, and that talks about the interrelationship between the medium and the society. You need to understand the difference between the earlier theories we discussed in the computer mediated communication, that purely talks about the communication process. And here again we are talking about communication process, but communication process between the institutions, the medium and the network medium and the social institutions. So in that, in these presentations, we are talking about the specific focus of the internet medium and internet based communication, what set of academic approach being employed by different disciplines, and since a medium deals with multiple purposes, it can be for one to many, many to many, or it can be one to one also. So it has 2 distinctive dimensions. One, same medium can be used for mass dissemination information. Similarly, simultaneously, by the same people can be use a platform for one-to-one discussion. So all the mainstream media context, the theoretical understanding of the mainstream media cannot be translated into the online platform because of this dichotomy. Medium can be used for private as well as public, professional and personal. So mass versus individual. So that we are going to talk about that. And then 3 major dominant theoretical context related to digital media. We are going to discuss about Manuel Castells' network theory of power and mediatization theory and actor network theory. These 3 theories are dominating in the current social media and social media and societal interaction purposes. And then we will talk about what are the middle range theories related to digital media. These 3 theories, network theory of power, mediatization and actor network theory, talking about the shifting of power, communication power is being disturbed or challenged or distributed due to the technological intervention and the introduction of digital media platform. It's not a top-down model, it's a horizontal. Individual users are empowered. So here see the power being earlier it was held by the powerful media companies. Now is being individual users can do that. So that's what the network theory of power, mediatization and actor network theory is talking about the power relationship between multiple stakeholders of the medium. That's a major challenge, major shift happened in the last 25 years time. So that's being studied extensively in different contexts. That needs to be studied at a multiple level in order to get a more orientation. There are a lot of stakeholders are involved, and then they're trying to every system trying to dominate the platform. The resistance also happens there. Okay, power and resistant power. So that all interplay, and this is not with the new digital media. Throughout the human societies happens. It's happened. It's happening. It'll happen like that. And particularly, we are talking about this medium in the theoretical context, theories of digital media. The medium is being not necessarily it's related to media or communication studies. Medium, the digital media is being studied extensively from the sociological perspective, political communication perspective, science and technological perspective. And in wide ranging of changes in the society, the media, the digital media have been responsible for some of the most wide ranging changes in the society over the past quarter century. That's being studied, scrutinized by various disciplines based on their own premises, their own understanding towards the media. There are theories which are well suited for mass media. There are theories well suited for interpersonal communication. We have two separate segments in the communication discipline. Mass media, like newspapers, television channels, film, radio, and how it operates. It's a kind of top-down model and professionally managed, and the prefabricated content disseminated to the wide variety of audience, mass dissemination. And mostly the mainstream media, major media companies are controlled by capitalists or controlled by state government. Government set up a powerful state power. So two of them always controls the mainstream media or mass communication process. If you look at the historical dimension, these two powerful groups always dominates in the communication process. Then we have set of theories related to interpersonal communications. It's more in a localized manner between the small number of people, how far this, the communication tools and settings plays between the people, 2 or 3 or small numbers. And these are two or very well established pattern of theoretical understanding, but we can't apply as it is to the digital media. The reason is the media, new media or digital media often have elements of both in the sense the medium can be used for, are being used for mass dissemination, are being used for interpersonal communication. One-to-one, we have seen the examples in the first week classes about one-to-one level of communication between two people, and one-to-many, and as a teacher I can communicate to the good number of people, and many-to-many, large number of people can communicate to the large number of people, which is quite strange to the mainstream media, because we're always one-to-many, one-to-many the institution to the mass. But one-to-one and many-to-many, it's a new concept which is applicable only to the digital media platform. So that's a kind of a problematic area in understanding digital media from the existing knowledge. So we need to understand the medium from the three different ways. One, there is a growth of user-generated content, which goes beyond passive audiences, and it goes beyond and sender and the receiver. Means that's being repeated many times in the earlier classes as well as in the earlier presentations about the prosumers. And prosumers are completely different from the audience of mainstream media. The prosumers can contribute substantially in the platform, particularly due to the interactive technological tools that enables a user-generated content. That's a unique characteristics of digital media, which is different from the passive audience, which is different from the relationship between the center and the periphery, center and the receivers. The second aspect is news and other content are often shared among groups on social media rather than one-to-one or one-to-many basis, right? Because information between you and your friend and you and a group of friends, that's very limited level, but in a social media platform, because that's what the monopoly of the mainstream media. But now everyone is capable to break the story, break the news through the social media platforms happening. There are many stories that came through the social media platform. That monopoly is no longer existing with the mainstream media. User-generated content and the news and content are often shared in the groups and social media platform. The third dimension to the digital media, apart from user generated content and the participation of individual users. The third is the way that content is tailored, customized to the audiences via multiple method and search engines or any other thing through their own method, they'll tailor the content to the audience. The new gatekeeping mechanism that are different from traditional gatekeeping, such as the professional journalist and their rules, regulations, standards, and they're controlled by the publishers, other media institutions. They have set up professional platform, and the news or information through the mainstream media has to go through these kind of traditional gatekeepers. Then only goes. They have the definition of news, they have definition of information, they have definition of column and cartoon pictures, video, everything. So that has to be acceptable by the system. Then only the information content goes to the society. But here in the online platform, the gatekeeping mechanism is completely different. Technology plays a role, and the individual profile based on the interaction, that plays a role, and access, the behavior competency, that plays a role. So the user's participation, user generated content, and the way the information is being presented to us, customized, is not a pre-fabricated content. It's a one for all. No, not like that. Here the content I am looking at in the one news website or news aggregator may be completely different from way that you look at the websites or what sort of information you get that. Because the continuous interaction between user and the data, user and the website always modifies, because our preferences, our taste, our data about the individual users being collected continuously by the different agencies. Accordingly, the content delivery to the audience, to the users, extensively customized. So these three are distinctive from the mainstream media. This needs to be understood very carefully before understanding the theoretical models for digital media, and all the digital media theoretical models are working on these three principles. The first theory is about Manuel Castells' theory of network power. Manuel Castells is one of the prominent theoreticians, and he worked extensively on network society, and he proposed a lot of theoretical understanding, knowledge about the medium. Primarily, he has two elements. His theory, the network theory of power, has two elements. One, all the media are best understood as a working via networks. Networks is the main tool here. Networks plays a major tool, and all the existence of the digital media is based on networks. Second element is, the power is increasingly concentrated in new global transnational media conglomerates, companies. So one, the digital media or network, the digital media platform surviving, playing a role through the networks only there. Secondly, major stakeholders are nowadays, the major space is being occupied by a few global transnational media conglomerates. The reason is, his network theory of power, Manuel Castells' network theory, is talking about the communication power. The state government, state power, the government power, whoever in the government, the regulatory system, and capitalistic power. These two power system always dominate the communication system. State wants to enforce the power because of dominance, because to enforce that they are the dominant group, and they want to establish that their power is being retained. Similarly, the capitalist, they dominate the communication power for the profit purpose, but in collaboration with the state government, state power. The state power and capitalistic power always plays a major role in any communication settings. Look at the newspaper, or look at the television channels, or film, or radio, even now the television or in digital media also. The reason is, any massive operation, newspaper, requires extensive capital investment. Television channel, running a channel, It's not an easy job. Producing a mega budget film also requires a huge budget. Radio network also budget. Individual users, individual people, a small number of people can't afford this kind of massively operated system for a longer period. Requires investment, requires manpower, requires raw materials, and information collection also should happen regularly. So the capitalistic group always pumps a lot of money in that because for the interest of getting a more profit out from this business. They treat as a news operation or film production or television channels as a business, another business. And news, entertainment, news and entertainment, other information service are considered to be their raw material. Through the material, they sell the space, they sell the time to the people, and according to the level of ability, quantity of the information, quality of the information, people will come and take their content. More people, higher the TRP ratings. More people read a newspaper, higher the circulation. So higher the number of TRPs, higher the number of circulation, that numbers they'll sell it to the advertising agency, they'll get the money. So capitalistic power always to get the good number, massive number, to get the number, they'll go to that they'll customize their professional standards to get the eyeballs, to get the circulation, to take the TRP ratings. So always they'll go along with the state power because the information, a lot of information comes from the political system. And their survival in the communication systems based on the approvals, based on the supply of the many raw materials, based on their operations, like regulatory body, circulation, all are interlinked. So they always maintain a powerful situation in the communication setup. So automatically that leads to the few global transnational media conglomerates are existing in the online platform. That's true in the network theory of power proposed by the Manuel Castelli. Search operations, very few companies are working on that. Social media platform, popular 2-3 topmost social media platforms are controlled by a few companies. These are multinational companies. And you take any set of digital media services, and it's no longer is individuals. We are claiming that individual has a power. We have the power. But the power we are exercising to the platform provided by a few global transnational media conglomerates. So that's what the argument. But there are some exceptions to that. Manuel Castelli's idea of this global transnational capital power survives in all the system. But there are exceptions, like if you take the China's media system, where this international global transnational media conglomerates are not enabled to survive there because they created their own media platform. Name any international social media platform, they have their own. So that China, because it's a political system, and they have their own reason for developing this kind of alternative digital media outlets. Similarly, in the Sweden, and where the public media system is dominant, it's not a profit oriented, it's not international multinational agencies working in the media communication system. And in Indian context here, and our mobile connectivity is a dominant force here. Mobile based communication, because our ICT infrastructure earlier time we are struggling with to provide the landline numbers, but because that reflects the infrastructure resources, but we have switched to the wireless level, mobile connectivity. Mobile connectivity instantaneously means over the last 10-15 years time, from 2G to 3G to 4G, now we are going for the 5G level. Our penetration level is massive, and we got more than 90% of the connectivity in Indian context. Okay, so but of course the platforms are changing, but these are the exception to the Manuel Castelli's idea of international transnational media conglomerates. So that's his argument, but he proposed the power in the network society is exercised through networks. That's his main argument. There are 4 different forms of power under these social and technological conditions. One is a networking power, the power of actors, the organizations included in the networks, like a companies which operates in the digital media platform that provides the services. Then network power means the power resulting from the standards required to coordinate social interaction in the networks. In this case, the power is exercised not by the exclusion from the networks, but for the imposition of rules of exclusion. The system and requires this set of characteristics, this set of parameters, this set of standards. If you are able to fulfill on this, then only you can be a part of that system. Okay, so one is the main players and the system itself. System can accommodate the people provided if you can meet the number of characteristics, the number of standards needs to be fulfilled. The third is networked power, the power of social actors or other social actors in the network. The forms and process of network power are specific to each network. So that's a third dimension to that. The fourth one, network making power, the power to program specific networks according to the interest and values of the programmers. The technological backend systems, which different networks following the strategic alliances between the dominant actors and of various networks, the collaboration of different companies. Next, we will take up the mediatization theory. This argues that the common people's relationship to the society is increasingly mediated. Communication tools, technology-based communication tools become a tool for people's relationship to the society. Through that only they started interacting with the society, mediated way. Mediatization is defined as a process whereby society to an increasing degree is submitted to or becomes dependent on media and their logic. Media become integrated into operations of other social institutions. Mainly the mediation argues about the mediated communication, and the society is increasingly become part of dependent on media. So that's a mediatization theory is talking about. The term mediatization refers to a social change process in which media have become increasingly influential and deeply integrated into different spheres of society. It's very much applicable to the digital media platform. The way we communicate to the nearby environment, family members, individuals, work and other public affairs, increasingly being carried out through the multiple social networks, online tools, digital media platforms. And another definition comes from another scholar saying that the mediatization of society as indicating extension of influence of media into all spheres of society and social life. That's happening. That's happening because this is the earlier concept, but it's happening in the digital media platform. It's influencing the political system, the social interaction, workforce, education, and all the other, even economical process also is being started extensively utilizing the digital networks. Another definition of mediatization theory is talking about where the society is to an increasing degree submitted to the or becomes independent on media. This is another earliest concept from Apps and other scholars saying that the mediatization as a development towards increasing media influence. It shows that how far this media system is becoming more influential in the social context. Primarily, the mediatization theory denotes that communications media spreading and penetrating to all the areas of society, wide sections of society. Unlike the mainstream media, and mainstream media's role mainly into the entertainment, information and education. But if you look at the digital media platform, it has a mass and individualistic approach, but that's what we discussed in the beginning of this presentation, started spreading and penetrating into all the areas of society. This mediatization theory more applicable, trying to synthesize the knowledge system about the digital media process. Earlier, the mass media have become very powerful autonomous institutions dominating over other social institutions, and it's exercising power over the political actors and organizations. That's no longer existing with the help of digital media platform, because the platform provides the users to get involved in extensively. And another major reason for this theory getting prominent in the digital media system is the enormous proliferation and the reach of messages through online platform had led to a situation where the media users can bypass the filtering and gatekeeping process of mass media. So the gatekeeping of mass media works in different way, and that filters the many information and passing certain information. But with the help of social media, Web 2.0, digital media, the common digital media users can bypass the digital media, the normal gatekeeping process, and they'll get to know many more information. They'll get to access a lot of other information. So that's one of the arguments. That's why this mediatization theory get prominence here. The mainstream media no longer plays that powerful role, because here there is a digital media where users are playing a crucial role. The power is being shifted from mainstream media to digital media. That's what the mediatization theory is talking about. In principle, users no longer relying on prefabricated content delivered by the mainstream media. We have all the other alternative way of getting information, particularly in the developed countries. The young populations trying to get more information from the social media rather than the mainstream media. So easily can understand the shift of power from mainstream media to social media or digital media. The users can rather choose at their own pace among the broad supply and advantage of the time shift facilities. Here the convenience and our convenient time, and according to our interest, we take the information, we can pause the video, watch it later, and we can segment the video, and we can logically arrange the information according to our needs, rather than the mainstream media where systematic linear method of broadcast and systematic prefabricated content through newspapers. That's no longer existing in the digital media platform. That's how the break of power system in the mainstream media to the digital media. It's just way of that. There are four main characteristics of mediatization theory. One is extension, substitution, amalgamation, and accommodation. Extension means communication is highly interlinked with their routine life now, because many of our routine life is being highly integrated with the ICT tools, provided we have the ICT connection part. And that fulfillment of connection, then we have carrying out many of our activities through online platform, online tools. And substitutions, the real life activities are carried out through mediated environment. For example, online meetings, e-learning, like this SWAYAM platform, become popular with the help of ICT tools. That's earlier, it was not possible earlier with the mainstream media. Then amalgamation, it's a collaboration of media sharing. For example, simultaneously the media can be utilized by many users with the kind of connection there, because you can watch a video in any particular popular video sharing platform, and parallelly you can inform a group of people, your friends. Simultaneously you can watch, but though you are sitting in different locations, but you can watch the content in the same time in a synchronous mode. So the fourth important point is accommodations. Very other influential, powerful actors are adapting into the digital environment, particularly the political system, because social media become very important political tool in many countries. That's become a deciding factor in many levels on that. So these are four prominent factors of mediatization theory, and the main essential point in mediatization theory is media becomes an independent social institution, unlike the earlier context where the Manuel Castells, the power of the capitalistic power and state power always retains the communication power. That's no longer existing in the online platform, because that's what the media become independent. So online media has become independent because everybody have a capability to participate. and media becomes integrated into other social institutions. That's what happening here. So these two are the main proponents of media communication theorists. These two concepts needs to be studied extensively in different social and cultural settings. The third important theory that we are trying to cover in this presentation is actor network theory. Actor network theory is more about new technologies about the media. This theory puts the emphasis on the agency, either the individuals or the non-human beings. That plays a crucial role in that. Actor network theory denotes the relationship between the humans and system and machines in computer network communication. This theory originated from the social science in the studies of scientific and technological practices networks, and mainly it's talking about human and non-human elements, structures and environment, whereas the science and technology or technological developments shapes the human and non-human interaction. That it argues that nature and society are consequences, not cause of the human scientific or technological work. And this is a continuous process, actor network over the period of time. It's not a dominating one or other elements dominates the computer mediated communication or the interaction between the other social institutions. There are many humans and non-human entities are playing a major role in the digital media platform. So we have seen this, these three theories. They are talking about the power is being shifted from the mainstream media to the new media system. The Manuel Castle is talking about the power is being distributed, though the few groups, multinational groups are existing in the online platform, still there is a lot of scope for individual users. Mediatization, the theory is talking about that the media becomes independent part of the social institutions. That's completely true with the digital media platform. The actor and network theory is talking about the coexistence of humans and non-human entities for betterment of carrying forward the technological based communication system. Some of the few theories that can be applicable which are derived from the mainstream media or middle range theories, but needs to be studied within the context of the computer mediated platform, cyberspace, and this kind of mass and individual private and professional role of individual users in the platform. For example, agenda setting theory, gatekeeping, context, framing, users and gratification, all these can be studied within this kind of two dimensions of private and public role of individual users in the online platform, where we have three primary roles of communication models like a one-to-one, one-to-many, and a many-to-many. So this all the theoretical context trying to denote one major point, that the top-down model is being replaced with the horizontal one, but though both are existing. But both are existing, it means in equal footing, and communication power no longer rests with the media companies. The communication power now is equally distributed to the digital media platform. The many social movements happens in the middle part of the club over the period last one decade can denote that the communication power has been redistributed, no longer existing with the capitalistic or political powers. So that's how this theory, all the main theories of presentation talking about, that needs to be studied extensively in a different cultural and social settings. Thank you.